Let's get back into this. So let's hit the game and press pause till we figure out exactly where we were. It feels like a long time ago since I played this, so it is only a week since we were streaming. And we survived the mass winter of starvation. We've managed to turn things around and are feeding the population well once again. Deathman, you just got back from vacation. 70 plus degrees and sunny to 26 degrees and snowy. Talking about Fahrenheit, of course. Wow, that's quite a change. Yeah, it's just wild and windy here today in the UK. I mean, really windy. But I don't think that should affect my connection. I hope it doesn't. Let me know if you get any problems at the end with the stream there. Yeah, you'll probably fall asleep during the stream, man. Yeah, thanks for declaring that. I know I'm a little bit dull and boring at the best of times, but you really don't need to tell me you're going to fall asleep halfway through. That does nothing for a streamer's confidence, you know. I know, before you say anything, I know you're just kidding. And it is ridiculously early for a Sunday morning where you are. Right, okay, so we did a bit of streamlining of the village. So as you can see, we've got our lovely round houses and huts and stuff now facing inwards, with scenes of industry. We've got flour making and bread making going on in the middle. This will have to be refined when we hit the Iron Age as well, because then we stop trying to bake bread in little campfires, and we get water mills and we get bread ovens and things like that. We've got a few crops growing. What age are we in at the moment anyway? We're still in the Neolithic age. We're about to hit the Copper Age. I've never heard of the Copper Age, so I don't know whether it's just a part of the game or something they've put into the game where humans find copper and learn how to smelt it. It's useful for trinkets and jewellery making. It wasn't a very useful metal because it was quite a soft metal and didn't hold a great edge. So I've never heard any historians talk about the Copper Age. But we've got enough capacity for the village. We're going to have to clean this up some more. And we've started building defences when the inevitable raiders start hitting us. We're going to rely on the river as quite a good means of defence as well. But we're going to try and get the village sealed in. Probably not the crops, because that's going to require a huge wall, but maybe some. Maybe some. We'll have to grow some crops outside. We'll see if we can get this thing sorted out. Yeah, West Coast for Anu there. Still, 10 a.m. is pretty early. Even if you weren't in the West Coast, 10 a.m. is still pretty early for a Sunday, I think. Right, okay. Let's get this going and see where we get up to. It is fall, or autumn, as everyone else knows it. And it's time to get some crops in. People aren't very happy. What's upsetting them? Have we got a lack of clothing, maybe? We might have a lack of clothing. Looks good for there. Capacity's not a problem. Maybe it's just people's spiritual well-being. We're not been looking after that. We might need to build a few more totems and monuments. We've got the food. We're on top of the food. We're having fantastic harvests at the moment. Since we had to switch from hunting to agriculture to feed ourselves, before the mass starvation, because the animals didn't turn up. We ran out of animals to hunt, which I guess was a true thing. In those days, if the herds didn't migrate across your lands, you didn't eat or you moved. Well, we didn't have the option of moving, so we starved. That was our choice. But yeah, since that's worked out, we've got tons of crops, plenty of vegetables, fish and meat. Well, meat's maybe a bit low. We'll try and address that soon. You missed a lot in the past week, Deathman. You saw this was 7 people who were just starting dried leather. Yeah, we've moved on a little bit. It's funny, when you do move up the ages and the technology improves, you see such a drastic increase from age to age. Farming improves, not so much by farming technology, but by the tools that you can make. Once you can make iron and steel farming implements, you can harvest bigger areas, it's just a lot more efficient. And that's really the increase. It's a technology, the tools that you can create. Oh, we found loads of other stuff, by the way. Just discovered by accident. If I double click a field, I can select the whole thing, and I can set it all to high priority with such a good, quick, simple click. And that was something I was complaining about last stream, that I couldn't select a whole field to be harvested quickly. You can. The developers they've got it all sorted in there, so it's there. I don't know whether it ever tells you this anywhere, and maybe I've just missed it, but once you know how to do this stuff, it's wonderful. Little things like that really make the game. How are we off for storage space? We've got that much grain, we're going to have a job storing it. I guess our people are going to start eating it soon. Everything's full. Actually, this isn't good. We've got plenty of straw, but it's not stored there. You haven't seen any of this since my first stream? We're on the third stream now, so maybe you haven't missed too much there, haven't you? Yeah, I mean, we haven't moved from the riverbank very far. We've got a few things built. What's our situation with animals? We've got 17, mostly goats. Okay, we're going to have to start building more stables. And I guess these fields will eventually move, because what we'll have to do is use this area for walls and other industry and stuff, I think. I think that's what we'll have to do. Although that is a really nice area to use. Still, we are getting things established. What I might do is build another stone pit down here and just get all that stone gathered up out the way. Let's get that going on. And then that'll free up that space. It'll actually... Things like that do make a difference to being able to build around and stuff. Has there been any accidental murder yet, Alderigo? Has there? Has there? Let me just think. We kind of starved half the village to death. Does that count? Like, that kind of counts, right? Let's build a few skull poles. Where should we put them? Oh, we can put them in here. There's loads of space in here, he says. Finding no space whatsoever. So let's put a couple of those, just because they look pretty cool. And maybe a couple of nature totems as well. We want to keep people happy. People aren't so happy at the moment. And we're working on... Oh, we're working on Stonehenge. I'd forgotten about that. Right, we shall take a look at that in a minute. Let's just make another one of these. There we go. We've got a nice central worship area. We had... I remember. Yes, I remember. We'd planted Stonehenge. We're going to make it on top of the hill and have a little procession going up. Which means that somewhere... There we go. We've got another stone mine. That's going to be prepared for transport. And there was another one, I thought. Says we've got 3. I don't know. I thought, oh, there's one. There's one. Currently being transported. Let's put the time up. This is really cool. I love this. We're going to see this guy start pulling this massive stone on a sledge. All by themselves. You would say that counts a little for missing some of the stuff. I don't know that we developed a whole lot. There was like about 3.5 hours of play, I suppose. And the speed of it all depends on how fast I toggle the game speed. When things are kind of managing themselves on this, you can just set the game speed up to 8 times and things just work. Oi! Didn't you leave something behind over there, mate? Like a great big rock? Never mind. Someone will go and get it. Oh, there's another one. Let's... I guess I've already told people to go and get that. Leather. Yeah, we're doing fine. We're doing fine. Winter time. And the planting of the peas and the beans. We've got some more goats. We've got a lot of goats. We might have to... We're going to have too many goats for the amount of space we've got. So when they come out in spring, we'll maybe slice 1 or 2 of those up. Does this game really let you build Stonehenge? Kind of. It calls it a stone circle. But it effectively is Stonehenge. And you can plant individual stones all the way around it. And make any sort of pattern or display that you... Well, not quite any, but you can make nice little approaches to it. You'll see when this goes up. It's in the process of going up. Hang on. We must be able to... No, we need another 20. We've got pig domestication. Pigs are a good source of food, but cattle are better. So I think we're going to hold off on capturing pigs. We've got meat, we've got tons of fish, we've got loads of food. Things are going well, but we're going to need some more space pretty soon. Yeah, let's focus on getting this lot harvested. Get rid of the stones, and we can build out past it quite nicely. That guy dragging that monolith reminds me of days as a first grader going to school with too big a backpack. I remember going to school. I had to take everything in a great big bag. All the textbooks, PE kit, everything you'd ever need for the day, or usually for the entire week, so you didn't forget something later on. Let's have a look at the trader. There we go. Is there anything we need? They're still selling bone spears, and bone spears are actually worth quite a bit at this time. I'll take some bows, because bows have some value. Bone spear. As soon as I go up to the Copper Age, all this bone stuff will be worthless. So, oh, this has got a lot of... This is quite an expensive one to deal with. Still, we do have lots of other stuff we can sell. Let's do it. Bows are just too valuable for hunting with. So let's get rid of those. And even a flint one. Well, there's some value in them. Yeah, because their value drops. Like they're worth 10 at the moment. Their value drops to 1 when you hit metalworking. Which is, I suppose, for trade purposes, I could see the reason for that. But they're still effective tools, so they still work okay. ISP's causing you trouble, Ragnus? Oh, sorry to hear that. Mine have been good. I have a really good ISP. They're called PlusNet. They are probably the best in the UK for customer service. Been with them 16 years. Really, really good. But I am in the process of upgrading my network a bit and having some gigabit Ethernet hardwired into the house. So I don't think it'll make much difference to the quality of the connection overall of the streams, but it might add a little bit of reliability in. And for the future, when I start, or well, not start, but one day when I get around to streaming at higher quality bit rates and 1080p, it might make that more viable. Not enough stable space for the animals. We're still worried about that. Everything else seems fine. We're doing fine with the skins, outfits and stuff. We survived the winter for more knowledge. Now for the spring planting. Everything's working well. We're getting rid of the stone. We've got a cow. An old female cow. No, we'll let them plant. We don't need to worry about meat and stuff just yet. How's this looking? Still waiting for one more, and then you'll see Stonehenge go up. Can we see it being... There it is. There it is. It's coming on that sledge. There we go. 2 guys. Oh, could you imagine dragging one of them through a ford? Yeah, a muddy, boggy ford. It does make you wonder the sort of lengths they must have gone to get these big... Well, was it the big stones that came from Wales to Stonehenge, or was it the smaller ones? I forget. But anyway, shifting these big stones around with the technology they had at the time would have been some damned effort. Hello, Mr. Peabody. How are you? I haven't seen you for a while. How's Steve doing these days? At Warst. Hope you have a great year to come. Been a while since I've seen you. Yeah, well, I hope 2019 is going to be the year for gamers everywhere, for all of us. Oh, we need to go and slaughter some animals. Right, let's go find some. We want the old ones. Old female. Been waiting to be milked. Chop. This is the... I won't say this is the only thing this game doesn't handle very well. It handles animals fine. It just requires a little bit of micromanagement when the stables start getting full. Goat, an old male. I feel sorry for some of these things. But, you know, we don't need them all, so chop them up. A bit of leather, a bit of meat, doesn't go amiss. What's that one? An old male. Chop up the old ones. Make room for the younger ones and the next generation. And you can actually tell just by looking. You see these, they actually look old and grey. So they're easy enough to pick out. Any more? That'll do for now. That will do. We will need to build another stable somewhere, but not just yet. Got a few pigs turned up. Oh, something else I found. Steve is fine and you're doing good? Oh, good to hear it. I haven't been on Steve's stream for a little while just to catch up with him. I guess he's still having shenanigans with World of Tanks. Something I also complained about is making hunting parties in this game. I found out how to do it. People did say press H or like select press H. The way to do it actually is hold down H on the keyboard and then drag it. Look at that. It doesn't select people who are unsuitable for a hunting party, like children and old tired adults. So I say that it's just selected an old tired adult there, but never mind. It selects more suitable people with suitable equipment. And then we're going to go and we're going to hunt a pig because we can. And they go along, all grouped up in a mob, and they're going to mess it up, aren't they? They're going to mess it up. Yep, they've messed it up already. So we've got one. Let's get... where's the next one? Let's get a few of these while we're out, while we've got a hunting party on the go. Oh, he suddenly thought he'd missed the party. Come and get joined in. Those guys are trapped in a rock. Any more? Kill all the piggies. Bit of free meat, that'll do. Right, let's get that going. And Stonehenge is taking shape. Look at that. There we go. Oh, is that some sort of carving on the back of there? I'd not noticed those before. That is quite a bit of detail. Does look impressive. Does look impressive. I like that. One guy, two guys working on it. And they've got it so they line up as well. Obviously, I think that's by design. Looks nice anyway. What's that? A big pile of soil in the middle. You've got a 2 megabit per second connection, Magnus. Gets split into 4 users. Oh, I see. Right. They're not upgrading it to 10 now. That'd be a shame. What do I think is better, Intel or AMD? It depends entirely on the role that you have planned for it. Like anything with computers, you decide on what role it's going to do, what the job is, and then you pick the parts that are going to be best for that job. So, currently, I mean, there's not a lot of difference. Let's be honest. AMD are probably better value for money price-wise. And we're talking about the top end here. The top end Ryzen versus the top end Intel chips. Maybe just a better bit of value for money. A little bit cheaper for the performance you get. Intel are generally speaking better for single core tasks or stuff that just one job, do it. So if you're talking about pure gaming, you probably get a bit better frames per second or a few more frames per second from an Intel, high-end Intel chip than an AMD chip. However, when it comes to multitasking and multi-threading, the Ryzen chips are generally considered better. And certainly better value for money, pound to performance-wise. That's why I built a Ryzen for this. Because for streaming, the multitasking, video rendering and stuff, and the price, it all made sense to go with that. People are still unhappy. Why are they so unhappy? I guess it's because they have to climb all the way up here to go and worship, which they are doing now. Look. Oh no, it's not quite finished. It's not quite finished. Which will live longer, an i7-8700 or a Ryzen 2700X? I can't answer that. They haven't been around long enough to say. Generally speaking, processors don't wear out very often. But if you mean the usable or the useful life out of them, they're both going to be good. Hey, milestone unlocked, Megalomania. Megalomania. That was a game we were talking about in the last stream, wasn't it? Back from the 90s. Oh, by the way, anyone new to this, watching us at this point, I should point out this is a development build. The game is still in beta, closed beta currently. And so what you see here may differ from the final finished version. Just a reminder, folks. Although it looked pretty finished and polished to me, and it seems to work quite well. Your husband built you an AMD-based PC simply because it was cheaper and didn't sacrifice performance. Yeah, that's kind of the reason I went with this, as well as the multitasking, multi-threading reasons. Oh, by the way, Annie, did you get that memory speed thing sorted out? I'm guessing you have done. Nearly got rid of all the stone, then we can extend our wall along. Poor guy's house on the outside. Work area exhausted, obtain stone. That was nicely timed. That's done, okay. Let's see, what's the situation? We can advance to the Copper Age. Let's do that. This unlocks. Oh, it did say make sure your village is fortified before doing this. Oops. Right, okay. It's summer. We've got some stuff. We're going to eventually deforest this, I think, because this is good cropland by the looks. It's nice and flat. I don't think that... Has that directly given me anything else I can build? Copper mines. And charcoal pits. I'm not too worried about being able to do that until we can actually research at the same time. Can we do tin mines as well? Where do we get... Oh, that's in the Bronze Age. So making things out of copper isn't actually all that useful. Apart from making things more valuable. Like copper spears, as we shall see at some point when we get round to it, aren't actually much better for fighting or hunting than flint and bone. So there's no desperate urgency for that. You got the memory sorted? Your husband messed with it and pronounced it good? Cool. Right. So we're still doing fine. Look at that food. Look at that food level. It is crazy. We are definitely well fed. Can we... oh, we can't upgrade to roundhouses yet. Where do we get masonry from? Is that... That's Bronze Age as well. Okay. Fruit tree domestication. Now, that's actually worth doing because you can... It all comes ready at different times of year. And, of course, once you've grown the trees, they don't need planting every season like the fields do. I don't think that actually unlocks anything particularly useful, apart from maybe a workshop. Actually, a workshop does, doesn't it? Hang on, did that say unlocks bronze smelting? That doesn't unlock bronze smelting. It can't do. It says it's already unlocked. But we can't make bronze until we get to the Bronze Age, surely. Curious. Very curious. What can we produce? A metalsmith to make copper. Oh, well, we do need one at some point. We're going to have a little metalworking area somewhere. Right in the middle of there. Maybe not. Ah, damn trees. Trees everywhere. We're going to end up with 2 of these wherever we put them. Let's get these trees sorted out first. Get these out the way. Then we can see what we're working at. Also, we can see the finished Stonehenge now. Looks a little different to the real one. Partly because it's all upright still. But, yeah, pretty impressive. Used a Dell laptop from 2010. The motherboard balling soldering died in 2015 and it started reaching such high temperatures that it would turn off in 5 minutes. Changed the motherboard, sold it yesterday. So that CPU lasted 9 years and gave some performance for 9 years. Can AMD do that without blowing up? Any processor can do that without blowing up. Any of the current ones, they've only been around for a year, 2 years, so who knows what issues they will develop, but there's none that I can foresee. And, I mean, I'm still using... In some of my systems, I've still got an old Windows XP laptop, and that uses an AMD... I can't remember the name of the processor, but it's like 16 years old, I think. Maybe 17. Still works. Hasn't had a lot of use. But, yeah, the short answer is we don't know how the new processors will be in a few years' time, but the sensible answer is that there shouldn't be any problems. Unless you get unlucky, but that can happen with anything. Do we want to trade for any of this junk? I don't think so. Right, let's get some trees felled. And then we can see where we're working at around here. There's actually quite a good supply of timber around. Get the whole lot chopped down. We are going to have to figure out what we're doing space-wise. What I might do is, it's not quite at capacity, is build the metalworking sort of on the back of here, back of the wall here, because, I mean, look, we've got mines around, so it kind of makes sense to dump the stuff through here. So let's do some of that. We build our... What do we have? Is this the wrong stuff? We've got a workshop. The workshop actually can go... This isn't too important. We're squeezing a lot of stuff in here. We can build that in here. But the metal smithing... We're going to want the charcoal pit. Let's just change that around. Can we get it? Actually, I don't want it too near the gates, and you'll see why in a little bit. So, because we want to be able to leave room for towers. Let's go. We're going to have 2 of these. Come on. Where's the other one going to go? Damn it. That house is right in the way. It probably has to go. Let's empty it and recycle it. And build another 1 or 2 down here. Can I not build that close to the river? Yeah, we kind of can. Right on top of that sheep there. And we also want to build some metal stuffing. Metal smith. We'll go for 2 of these next to each other so we can see where our production's going to be. And then we also want pit furnaces, 2 of those, which we can. They should be able to build those in like little awkward spots. Surely. That's no good for anything else. Surely we can build those in tricky little locations. Like the back of these houses. No. No? Are those really that awkward? Well, I guess they have to go somewhere, so that'll do for now. Well, you get up to 45 degrees in summer. That's pretty warm. AMD gets really hot. No, they don't. The Wraith stock coolers on the Ryzen chips, and the Ryzen chips generally, mine certainly doesn't get that hot. And the Wraith cooler will keep it cool. It will be noisy though. So if you're worried about noise, the Wraith cooler is not the way to go. Hang on a sec. Hang on a sec. I see something to hunt. Get it while it's still in the water. Why can't I select these things? There we go. Get him, get him, get him. That's good. Yeah, it's a bit of an odd thing the way that works. That things don't die in the water. That's fine. That's fine. Yeah, Wraith coolers, because I built mine with the Wraith cooler to originally start off with, just to see what it was like, because I honestly didn't know what it'd be like. Kept it cool enough. Temperatures weren't a problem, even under full load. But the noise was, and that was no good for when I was going to be streaming, so I replaced it with a Noctua. I can't remember exactly which model. NH15 or NHS15. I can't remember. I could look it up, but I'm lazy. And they are cooler and quieter, but they are big, beefy air coolers. But they're just what I wanted. Hi, Predator. How are you? My day's been pretty good so far. Nice and chilled out. Although, folks, do please shout up. When it gets to, when it gets to 6 o'clock UK time, I need to go. Picking my wife up from the railway station. If I forget that, I will be in a bit of trouble. Sort of trouble that is not optional. Let's just chop these down as well. We're going to have a mass forestry effort at some point. We also need to continue our wall, but we need a lot more timber first. So let's... I guess what we'll do is... Are these little ones? Young trees. Let's set a work zone over here. Chopping down trees. That's quite nice, actually. And what we're going to do is... We are going to deforest this, as sad as that sounds. There's a lot of timber there. Where's the thing gone? There it is. So up to 2 people, yeah, chop down the lot. And when that wears out, we'll just move them on. And we're going to use it to build a wall. Should be just after 3 PM there. It is. You're dead right. You got the maths dead right on that. We're going to need some more granaries or some more people to eat all this food. Oh, we've got plenty of knowledge there. What should we have? Cattle. Cattle domestication would be really good. But then donkeys and horses allow us to pull carts around. So that's also really good. Until we get the wheel. We need the wheel for that. Let's get cattle. Because cattle are more interesting than... I think they're more interesting in this game than sheep and goats and stuff. Let's see. Where can I build another stable? Can I fit one in there? No, I thought that would be pushing me luck a little bit. Down by the riverside? One there. That'll do. Yep, let's go for that there. Plenty of straw. Good. And let's just take a look. Is there anything that we can go and... There's a bear in the woods. Really, we want to try and get some cattle domesticated. What's that? Wild horse? Well, we will find some sometime. Aha! Aha ha ha! An old female aurochs. Is there any more about? We've got reindeer. Haven't hunted many of them yet. Is that... Never mind. We will come across a herd of these guys at some point. Where's our base gone?